Why are they in Georgia? Why are they in Turkey? Why might they be going to Russia soon? Why are they in LA? Why are they in Miami? Why are they in New York? The reason is that the mother of all comebacks are coming. Andrew and I are going to be famous and important and influential for other reasons than running our emergency meeting podcast. Andrew and I, within a year or so, should be listed billionaires. Andrew and I should have vindicated and cleared our names entirely, despite the fact that everyone already knows that case that the Romanians tried against me was bullshit. And Andrew and I are going to become far more important in the realms of pop culture and global culture than we ever were before. But to do that, it takes a lot of hard work. And sitting around on Rumble all day isn't the solution. You know, streamers have this engagement farming way of, I guess, making money and paying their bills where they're happy to log in and just sit here for 10, 15 hours a day, talk, play stupid games, flip coins, gamble, whatever it is they're doing. And that's how they see themselves making a mark on the world. I understand that podcasting as we know it, and content creation as we know it, and influencing as we know it, is going to change massively within the next 12 months, and Andrew and I are preparing for that. Make no mistake, our global influence is soon going to be bigger than ever before. That's why I'm late. So I hope you forgive me. And I know any super chats that come in, I'm going to make some time to answer them. But there's a few things, because I don't spend much time on X these days. I don't tweet endlessly. As I said, I'm no longer locked in my house. I'm completely free to travel anywhere in the world I like, as often as I like. And the Romanian case is now a distant memory, which is I'm very happy for. But my online activity seems to have waned, which is fine for now. But a lot of important things are happening in the world that people ask my opinions on. And I thought, I don't have time to sit here and have 25 Twitter debates. When I'm on my laptop, I'm doing something more important. I'm in a Zoom meeting with 6 billionaires organizing a global takeover. So why don't I just jump on the Rumble stream while I'm here in Romania, visiting of my own free will. I have no particular reason to be here, and answer some of the questions that some of you have. And first and foremost, I want to talk a little bit, about something everybody already knows which is happening, which is the state of the UK. The state of the UK politics and the state of the UK just as a country in general. And there's a name that springs to mind, certainly in the last week or so, when I think of my former homeland of England. And that name is not Keir Starmer, it's not Mandelson, it's not Prince Andrew. That name is actually Henry Nowak, spelled Nowak, but I believe Mr. Henry Nowak was half Polish. I hope I'm not butchering the pronunciation. Offend his family with everything they're going through. But the Henry Nowak situation is something I've been asked about a lot in the UK because of previous remarks that I've made. Andrew and I have been some of the loudest anti-knife crime advocates since the knife crime epidemic in the UK started 10 years ago. We have been the most anti-street violence advocates, since this pandemic took over the UK. And largely, despite being mixed race, we've been very supportive of any country. England, France, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Japan, that wants to maintain some aspect of cultural and ethnic homogeny. And I've been called racist for it. I've been called a horrible person for it. I've been called all sorts of names for subscribing to the ideology that, Ireland should be largely full of Irish people. That makes you racist these days, which is, I think, pretty nuts. Because if I were to say, Kenya should be largely full of Kenyan people, I don't think the same groups that love to attack me and censor me, we'll get to those later, would be so offended. But Henry Nowak is a young, white, half-British man like myself. I'm also half American. He was half Polish, who was stabbed to death on the streets in the UK. And a very unique situation took place Because in this particular case, the knife that was used to stab him was legal. It was a legal knife to carry. And I've been asked particularly about this because I have had, throughout my entire online career, nothing but nice things to say about the Sikh community. I will still stand by my previous statements to this day that the Sikh community has been an overall net positive to most countries that they come to. They become doctors, lawyers. These are the people who actually do what the pro unchecked immigration crowd say that all immigrants do. Somalis don't, for example. And Sikhs are very smart people, very well educated, but they've had a special protection under the law for a very long time. And I myself am anti special protections under the law or special rules under the law for any ethnic group. But I never really cared about this particular issue until reading about the death of Mr. Henry Novak. Now, I remember being a young kid, 17, 18 years of age, and I was told that it was illegal to carry knives on the streets of England. I remember when these laws first came into place. I was a young guy who lived in, arguably England's worst town. And I would get in a bunch of street fights and knife violence started, ramping up. And I remember these initiatives that first made knives legal, saying you could no longer carry a knife on the streets. And people carry knives for all sorts of reasons. So there's quite a new concept at the time, around about the same time as the smoking ban coming into place in England, which is gay, by the way. And they said no one's allowed to carry a knife besides two groups of people. Now, I don't know if this still stands today, but certainly when I was young, there was two groups of people that were allowed to carry a blade, a deadly blade, on the streets of the UK, and they were Sikhs, because Sikhs have a special ceremonial knife that they carry around with them at all times as part of their religious beliefs. And the second one, please look this up, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm thinking back many years now, probably illegal today, but it was a Scotsman in full Highland dress. So a Scotsman in the full kilt and the waistcoat and the hat, the type of bagpipe playing guys that you see in military parades and old movies. With their high socks, they had to. It's a shame so many people struggle to breathe freely when this special breathing loophole helped me go from bare a dagger called a dirk, D-I-R-K, stuffed in the side of the sock to complete their full Highland dress. And I believe Scotsmen in full Highland dress were allowed to carry daggers, and Sikhs were allowed to carry this special ceremonial knife. Sikhs are largely not the problem in the UK when it comes to knife violence and when it comes to crime. They're largely good people, hardworking, studious, industrious. However, this one Sikh retard took it upon himself to attack Mr. Henry Novak and stab him in the lung. And the weapon he used was this weapon that he was legally allowed to carry, which has upset me massively because I was never truly that offended by this special rule for Sikhs to be able to carry their, ceremonial dagger as part of their religious beliefs. And as this young man was bleeding to death, and the police showed up on the scene, the Sikh guy in question said he was being a racist and there was a fight, and they handcuffed this young British-Polish lad, and he bled to death in police handcuffs. And I think his last words, ironically, were, "I can't breathe." And there's been no riots, and there's been nothing about him in the news, and no politician has taken a knee to honor him. And I just feel like, as a man who's half British myself, who comes from that country, it really upsets me, and I will make a public statement that to him, his family, any young people in the United Kingdom, that it's very sad to see, and I'm truly deeply hurt that my country has, fallen so badly that good young men like that can go off the streets without risk of taking a knife in the lung. I would say to the British establishment, who listen to everything I say, but take nothing into account, as one of the strongest anti-knife crime advocates in the world, that unfortunately it is now time to end the special privilege that Sikh people have in terms of carrying their dagger. If you want to carry your dagger, carry it at home. Maybe we should be able to sell some type of replacement dagger that's completely blunt, completely non-lethal, completely non-dangerous, so they can carry it around and still meet their religious obligations, but without the risk of being misused. And unfortunately, one person can fuck it up for an entire group. The reason we have speed limits are not because they think I'm going to crash if I do 45 miles an hour. I'm a professionally trained track driver and one of the world's largest car collectors. The reason we have those is because they need the slowest, dumbest idiot to drive at 30. Because if he drives at 31, he's going to crash and kill somebody. So people often fuck it up for an entire group. And the guy who killed Mr. Novak certainly has fucked it up for the entire group of Sikhs. And if I believe someone of good character were in charge, someone like Nigel Farage, he'd meet with the leaders of the Sikh community. He'd explain that one person has fucked it up for the entire group. And within a week, we'd see legislation moving through Parliament that would ban people carrying these ceremonial knives, religious or non-religious. I'm not sure we're going to see that, though, because I believe that our current UK administration cares much more about the sentiments and feelings of every single non-ethnic British racial group more than they care about the safety of their own people. So I don't think this is the last time this is going to happen. I believe that this young Sikh man who's an idiot, who needs to go to prison, is part of a generation of idiots. Young men largely are idiots these days. It's something that Andrew and I have, our personal mission is to try to curtail this and try to fix this. But there are going to be more young Sikh idiots with their little sharp knives, stabbing people, and causing harm unless legislation is pushed through. I think that it needs to end today, and I guess I just want to start this podcast by saying rest in peace to Mr. Henry Novak, because he's not going to get the international outrage George Floyd, the career criminal who overdosed on fentanyl, got. He's not going to get absolutely, I guess, anything in terms of tribute, in terms of his family being appeased or made whole. And if there's anybody who knows this young man's family, if I can personally do anything to help the family, I would. Offers out there. It's not very hard to get in touch with me. You can find me on X at Take the Talisman, and I'll step in and try to help them out if I can, because I'm sure they're going to get absolutely no assistance from the government. So, to keep you up to speed on my legal problems, I have no legal problems. Everything is fine, and everything is now melting away. It's crazy that the entire resources of a European Union country like Romania can investigate and imprison American citizens for 3.5 years and investigate every aspect of their lives and never even find enough evidence to send them to trial. And no one's suspicious. I say no one's suspicious. All of you know what happened to me, and now it's over and I can basically live my life as normal. But eventually, there has to be a counterattack to every attack. You can't just lay on your back and allow your enemies to completely run over you. So the next big step in my legal saga, just to let you guys know what is happening, is there is going to be a massive lawsuit at the end of this year. There is going to be a massive civil lawsuit at the end of this year in an American court where I, Tristan Tate, am no longer a defendant for doing something wrong. I'm the plaintiff. And some of the people who helped do this to me will be the defendants. I've been working on it for many, many long months now. I've been mentally preparing for it for many years. And I can't say too much about it, but I can tell all of you to keep your eyes and ears very wide open to any litigations I'm involved in, because there will come a time very soon when the stand is going to be packed full of people who helped do this to me. And I will be standing there as the plaintiff in total freedom. That's coming at the end of this year. So keep your eyes open. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Not only that, but it turns out, now that this is all said and done, a bunch of whistleblowers are anonymously coming forward and putting the picture together of exactly what happened to me. And I'm going to say a name at the end of this sentence, just so my enemies know that I'm on the right track. You know, you can enact injustices upon a man as much as you like, but it's going to hurt your soul if you are a good person. And there are some good people out there, it seems, because I've been sitting here for years in these emergency meetings I referenced earlier, screaming about how unjust it is and how it's definitely a conspiracy, and I don't know exactly who's behind it, but there must be some NGOs and the British government are working together to try and get me off the internet and to silence me, to put me in jail. It turns out, after all of these years, now that the content of my character has become more clear to people, and people have opened their eyes as to what's actually happened to me and what I really did wrong. Which it turns out legally, as of right now, is absolutely nothing, as I still have a clean criminal record and always will have. But whistleblowers are coming forward. People from within the ranks of the enemy are coming forward and telling me who has done this to me and who's really behind it. And I would just like the Center for Countering Digital Hate to know, the CCDH to know, that I see all the trails that lead back to you. And a full investigation is going on to uncover exactly what it is that you guys did. So there's a slight name drop for you all. And then again, there will be legal cases or cases in which I am the defendant once I zero in on absolutely everybody else who took part in this. But my legal problems aside, it's genuinely not that interesting anymore. Who cares? I'm in freedom. Just got back from New York. Just got back from Dubai. I was in Beverly Hills before that. Do I really give a shit? At this point, legal problems, as much as the media...
Do you want to stop your ear ringing in a week? Here's the perfect drink to silence that hissing. If you notice your...
Just to make out that I have any, are just people in rooms doing paperwork. You know? People might say to me, oh, what if the Romanians try to make a new case? One, they'll look fucking stupid. I hope everyone realizes that if the Romanians are audacious enough in a month or 2 months or 1 year or 2 years to say, we're going to charge them with crimes again. After everything that's happened, even my worst haters and detractors will be like, yeah, nice try, Romania. We really, really don't believe you. It's the boy who cried wolf, you know. So at this stage, what my legal problems mean is there are losers in rooms doing paperwork about me. I'm in Beverly Hills. I'm in my mansion. Wake up in bed next to a beautiful woman. You know, the night before I was drinking gin and tonics by the side of the pool. And these people are stuck in offices, maybe in Romania, maybe in England, doing paperwork with my name on it. I don't give a fuck how much paperwork you nerds are doing, by the way. And I don't care how much the media tries to blow it up as though it's some issue that actually affects me, by the way. Because I think about these people almost zero, and I don't care what they're up to. I've never done anything wrong. I have nothing to hide. So that sums up my legal problems. Now, speaking of legal problems, there's something I'd like to weigh in on here. Because I've spent some time trying to explain myself on Twitter about this man, Chud the Builder, he calls himself, who is a streamer and self-styled free speech activist. And I'm going to sit here on my podcast and talk about Chud the Builder, just so everyone understands exactly where I'm coming from. Because I haven't necessarily been the most complimentary person about him. But first and foremost, I'd like to say that there are a lot of important people whose opinions I trust online who think that he's innocent and he was acting in self-defense. Great. In fact, I hope he was acting in self-defense. I hope he was acting in self-defense, and I hope that if he was, he gets home to his son very soon, because we all know he has a child, and I do not wish to see any father locked up unjustly. I genuinely wish him the best, but I'm being attacked by his fans and his friends because I've refused to pay his bail and refused to donate money to his legal situation. And I'd like to explain a little bit about why I made that choice not to part with my hard-earned money and to help this guy out. It's not because I think he's guilty. I've made absolutely no statements implying that he's guilty of anything. I've simply said I will not be giving him my money. And the will not be giving him my money is for the same reason. I mean, I have a cordial relationship, let's say. Never really spoke to him one-on-one, but I know his team. His team have reached out to me. I speak to his friends. With that streamer Vitalik, I mean, we're in some of the same circles. And I'm glad he's home with his family now. I think he's paid for what he did. I think that he's certainly served his time for what he did. But when he went to jail in the Philippines, I was saying, yeah, fair enough. I mean, you can't run around just harassing innocent people who don't wish to be on stream and they don't wish to partake in your buffoonery. You can't be stealing their scooters and grabbing guns out of security guards' holsters and stuff in the Philippines. Okay, you went to jail. Fine. He took his jail time like a man, and he's moved on with his life, and hopefully he's condensed the nonsense. But I didn't defend him at the time, even though I liked some of the work he did, because I've never been a fan of what I call nuisance streaming. Nuisance streaming is the practice of going around and fucking with people who don't necessarily want to be part of your show for the sake of getting clicks or pumping up a coin or whatever reason you do it. And the reason I will not be giving Chud the Builder any of my money is because I see him as a nuisance streamer. And I fully understand that when I say this, there are some people who will say, as the rebuttals on Twitter have called for, hey man, you're just going to let black people attack people because they said a word, and one word can't give people the excuse to punch people in the face and to chimp out. I know. I agree with you. I don't think anyone should punch anyone in the face for saying a word, like nigger, which is the word in question in this particular stream. However, although no black person should swing for him or punch him for saying nigger, although that's a crime, and the people who do that deserve to be arrested, you have to understand as a full-grown man that if you go around saying nigger, there is a potential chance somebody might swing for you. Now, I'm mixed race, so let's actually change the conversation. Because people are going to say I'm defending the fact that blacks might attack you if you say the N-word, and I'm not. Because nobody should. But because I'm mixed race, people are going to try to personalize this to me. So let's take something that I'm not, which is a faggot. I'm not a faggot. I don't have very many friends who are faggots. I know a few. Actually, no, I don't know faggots. I know gay people. Normal gay people who are cool with me. But let's say you, or me, or anyone wants to be a nuisance streamer, okay? And I decide, me, Tristan Tate, to go to gay pride festivals, gay pride bars, gay nightclubs, gay saunas, gay golf courses, wherever gays hang out. And I decide live on my stream to unwittingly, without these people consenting to being on my stream myself saying, hey, do you believe in freedom of speech? Like, yeah. Faggot, 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 faggot. Now, should the gay person punch me? No. Is it a crime to punch me? Yes. Do I believe anyone should be able to say the word faggot if they like? Clearly I do. But if you fuck around, you might find out, because people don't stick to laws. That's why we have a criminal justice system. And I would have to, as a smart, pragmatic man, understand that if I walk into a gay nightclub as the only straight guy and start saying faggot, that there is a chance someone might try to punch me. Should I do it anyway? By all means, you should. So I don't understand the exact situation that happened with Chud the Builder. I don't. The footage has not been seen, but I've seen some of his other streams where he does exactly that. Hey, do you believe in free speech? Yeah, I believe in free speech. Yeah, what about nigger? Nigger, nigger, nigger. So say nigger for the black people. Fine. Now, in those particular streams, the black people didn't swing on them. But I think that Chud the Builder has his hand on a pistol by his waist the whole time. Is he hoping somebody swings so he can blast him? Is he thinking somebody might swing? Clearly he is, because he's going out armed, so he might blast him. I feel it to be a bit of a nuisance streamer move, or certainly a dick move, to walk around knowing that you're trying to provoke people or get an aggressive response out of people, or that you may well get an aggressive response out of people, with your hand on a gun, thinking I'll just fucking shoot them. This person doesn't want to be on your stream. And they don't, as much as you have the right to say it, want to be called a faggot or a nigger on your stream. They don't want to be embarrassed on your stream. They don't want to look like a bitch on your stream. And to not look like a bitch, a lot of men will try to punch you in the face. An example I gave was the word retard. Now, people got mad at this example because they're like, Chump the Builder wouldn't insult kids. Maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he's a great guy. I know he's a father himself. But I, for one, am a special needs father. I have a child who has special needs. And if you walk up to me with a microphone in front of my kid, and you start saying, retard, 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 depending on my mood, I'd probably take my kid, walk her away, and I'd say, look, there are evil people in this world.
This is not a scam, but this ginger trick erased my forehead lines. This is the ginger trick that made
You just want to provoke people and elicit responses out of people, it's fine. But a lot of special needs dads, including me on the wrong day, will punch you in the face. Now, if I punch you in the face and you fucking blow my brains out in front of my kid and empty your clip and be like, self-defense, you may be legally correct, but you are, in fact, still a dickhead. So I don't want to give my money to him. Now, I've not been attacked because I've said he's guilty. I've not been attacked because I said he did anything particularly wrong. I haven't been attacked on my analysis of the situation that he got himself in because I don't know the situation. I have just said that he is in fact a nuisance streamer. And I do not wish to give my money to nuisance streamers. I don't know. All the anti-black, pro-white guys, pro-free speech guys seem to be mad at me about that. Here's an idea. Give him your money. It's only 1.25 million. Why don't you give him your money? You're not mad at me because I called him guilty, because I haven't. You're mad at me because I won't give him my money. It's my money. I earned it. I need it for stuff. If you're going to go around being a nuisance streamer, it's not my business to try to bail you out. He could make this argument in a more compendious and a smarter way, I feel. But he is innocent. I wish him the absolute best of luck, and I hope he's exonerated very soon and reunited with his kid. I felt like I just need to explain this, my stringer. Explain that the whole argument is just about me not getting my money.